Good evening again to you, Guyana. Welcome to our February episode of Reparations Now. I'm Esther Gittins, yours truly, moderator for this evening, sitting in for Brother Jonathan Adams, our Vice Chairman, who's currently at the University of West Indies, minding the CARICOM Reparations Research Unit. In studio here with us this evening, we have Brother Eric Phillips, Chairman of the Guyana Reparations Committee, and we have Sister Penda, our champion mobilizer. Well, I would love to wish you, our viewers, a happy 49th anniversary of Mashomani here in Guyana. I know it's belated, but the spirit is still here with us. This is also Black History Month, as we all should know by now, in the 5th year of the International Decade for People of African Descent here in Guyana, and internationally, in fact. And I would love for you to join with me in congratulating our champion, Brother Eric Phillips, who has just been awarded the Golden Arrow of Achievement. Brother Eric,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know all of our viewers and supporters are fans are wishing you the same. Well, we know most times when we hear about Africa or people talk about Africa, the picture that comes to mind is huts and half-naked people and starvation and all of that. This evening, we want to show you a different side of Africa, as we've come to know. And I will ask my technician to bring to you a video showing 10 cities in Africa. And right after that, we will show you top 12 inventions of Africans.
And here we are, dreaming in the open. Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time, and these are our plans. We're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Standing at the crossroads, feeling how the wind blows. We can soar above the clouds. Every moment is a heartbeat, and every breath feeling so sweet. And who can say what happens now? 'Cause this is our world, this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. This is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let stop dreaming. Right. Whoa. Whoa. I kept your face in the locket, but now it's time to stop it. Whoa. Whoa. Set it free. Whoa. Whoa. And now I'm gonna be alright, even if it takes all night.
guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a comment.
You know, what we're trying to really do is, if you come to a kiosk in rural area or in the city, it's the same service, same quality service, same product, you know, a uniform distribution channel.
What would Emile have had to do to buy into the business?
So the franchise business on this version, particular version, was $700, which include training. We teach them about marketing, business model, taxes, etc. What he also does on top of charging, he can sell airtime. He has a POS system to sell electricity, which his partner does to the closest city where there's electricity.
So it seems like Emile already has quite a few customers. Do you want to maybe get more kiosks in the future?
Kuko kugira ngo nzaze mbasha kubona na telefoni charge nyinshi kugira kubera hano haba abakira cyane.
Henry now has 24 franchisees operating across Rwanda.
So why franchise? Very simple. You know, a lot of time you see a lot of people that want to be in business for themselves, but they don't want to be in business by themselves. When you look at statistics, franchise business model has a higher rate of success than traditional business. 80% of franchisees succeed, and 80% of traditional business fail. And we'll still have a lot of challenges. I mean, now we're still small, so it's easy to monitor, but how do you monitor 200, 300, 400 kiosks? So now we're developing a software technology that will be built in the kiosk, so we can communicate with the kiosk and be able to know where the kiosks are, troubleshoot the kiosk remotely. And we're working on the next generation kiosk where we'll be offering internet services. We're in a great space now because, especially in Rwanda, they're really promoting entrepreneurship. But I think it's very early stage, you know, because you can always have great ideas, problem solving, but without financing, you can't move from point A to point B. I mean, that's just the name of the game. Great ideas get stuck because there's no funding. You know, I see it all the time. Now we have to move beyond entrepreneurship also and create a real structure to support those entrepreneurs, to get them to the next level.
In many African cities, motorbikes are the most popular form of transport. Even those who don't have their own make use of motorbike taxis like this one. But roadworthiness and driver credentials are often overlooked, and danger on the roads is an ongoing issue. I'm on my way to meet with the founders of a software development company called HeyHey. One of their latest products is tackling the dangers of unregulated motorcycle taxis.
Thank you.
Welcome to our office.
Thank you so much for having me. I love the photography. It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, we try to be the most creative space in Kigali, and I think we're almost there.
Clarisse Iribagiza and the HeyHey team operate from here, a collective workspace in Kigali called The Office. It's an innovation hub where small startups can share space and pool resources. HeyHey, which means where in Kinyarwanda, was founded by Clarisse and 3 other students attending a summer course for mobile programming. In just 4 years, the team has transformed big ideas into big business. The company is now one of the leading software development firms in the country.
This team that was formed actually grew to become something bigger than we had imagined, and we grew from having just SMS-based applications, you know, from the time that we started with a bit of web technologies to now, you know, full-on smartphone applications that are running on iOS devices, on Android devices.
Name, where he lives, the phone number and stuff.
Last year we won the Transform Africa Award. We've been listed in Forbes, which was pretty great. In 2012, we got the Inspire Africa Award as well. With each prize that we got, with each award that we got, we saw a client walk in.
HeyHey has quickly gained a solid reputation. They were recently contracted by the Rwandan government to create online public opinion surveys and have given university students a way to access their grades remotely.
You guys are quite a small team, but you're working on a lot of different projects at the same time.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but we try to be as efficient as possible.
One of their latest initiatives is Safe Border, a new app tackling a big problem.
The application that we're building right now, it's a GPS-enabled application that will connect people that are looking to take these motorbikes with really safe motorbike drivers who have been trained in road safety, who have, clean helmets, who drive safe, who have driver's licenses, things like this.
You tap on the web icon, the app icon, and it gives you a list of motor drivers available. So what it does, it actually connects you to a specific motor driver within your area, and you have their contact information, their motor drive plate number, and you can basically track them and be able to just connect with them personally.
That one really deserves a round of applause.
Hey Hey is also leading the way when it comes to user access to local creative content. They've recently launched a platform called Nundu.
This digital content store will be hosting most of in-house products we have here, apps. We are also focusing on audio content like music, storytelling,
So you're
podcasts.
creating your own iTunes or Amazon basically for the continent.
You can call it like that.
Nundu allows registered users to download locally developed apps, access African literature, comics and poetry, as well as preview and download local music.
We wanted to build a platform that could really tell Africa's story in a new light. Just share great stories, great innovations from all over the continent. So we realized that we really needed to understand the context in which we were operating, understand what the needs were, and this is where homegrown solutions really do make sense.
And in line with everything homegrown, even Rwandan coffee farmers are set to benefit from Hey Hey's software development skills.
We have this mobile application that is literally getting the farmer's voice right from their farm to the decision makers during their district coffee task force meetings.
To record the voice, you just need to touch here, and as you can...
It's mostly the older generation in Africa that's still in agriculture. Yeah. They're not tech savvy. How on earth is an information-based solution supposed to help them? So we're working with youth that are somehow connected to these coffee farmers. It's a smartphone application that youth in these villages will actually have, and will be able to go down to this farmer and get what their issues are, record it, share it with the decision makers.
We started with 2 districts.
Akarere is the different districts.
Yes, and sectors in Mirenje.
So this is actually how you gather all of the feedback from the various farmers to be able to put together and present to policymakers.
Yes.
Right.
Technology. Coming to here was the best decision I could have made. I had the chance to...
Clarice and the team host 6-month incubation programs to teach high school students how to develop an idea into a functioning app.
As you can see, these are some of the apps that were built by the high school students that we worked with in a 6 months incubation program that we have. We also take them through understanding design thinking. How do you really get to understand what issues are out there, and how do you build relevant solutions? So when they graduate, not only can they just build up, but they're super confident teens who know how to collaborate, work in teams to build great solutions and understand, communicate their ideas, and are building things that are relevant for the market. I've learned how the team, because there's just a handful of women in technology, we try to encourage girls at that age to stay passionate about science and technology. We don't just want to be a country or a continent that's simply consuming whatever technologies are being built by others. We want to be part of the people that are creating these solutions, that are contributing to the technological advancement of the world. And I certainly believe that great technology innovations will be coming out of Africa and will be coming out of Hey Hey.
So, Sister Penda, when we talk about going back to Africa, that's what we can expect.
Of course.
No hot, no half-naked people. So, Sister Penda, let's talk about the beauty of the cities of Africa.
Yeah. First of all, though, why are you saying no half-naked people? I mean, Africans are so beautiful that, their bodies are so lovely.
I know.
No, but seriously, Africa is such a beautiful place. I think it was Louis Armstrong Sashmo when he first touched down in, I think it was Ghana. He got off the plane, kissed the ground, and he said, this is, so wonderful. And I can tell you, I felt the same way the first time. My first visit was to Nigeria. And when I came out, it was like, wow, the airport, it's so beautiful. It's something that you would never imagine listening to the way Africa's portrayed. Africa's portrayed as some, backward place where, the people don't have any education, they have no sense, the countries are in ruin and everything like that. The most beautiful cities, as you just saw, are in Africa. And that just didn't happen. It came true, Brother Eric, as you know, from ancient Kemet. We had the most creative people that did the pyramids. We had Imhotep and all these people with precision.
We have the Moors in Spain.
Exactly. So, but when you go into places like South Africa, which I know Brother Eric will just agree, and you go into the Cape, the scenery there is so beautiful. It is so beautiful that Elizabeth Taylor and all these people, they have their homes in the area called the Pinnacle. And it is the most beautiful area. I mean, the rocks in the ocean are black because of the kelp. It is awesome. And then you go through to places like Johannesburg, and then you go over to places like Zimbabwe, where you have the Mose Ayatonia, which is the fall that roars, but of course they name it Victoria Falls.
Victoria.
But it is such Mose Ayatonia. And it is so beautiful. It is, you cannot imagine. And it is so huge, it is so grand that the sprays literally wet you up. You have to have a raincoat, and you're standing like so many feet away, more than 100 feet, and the sprays are soaking you right through. And then you have the Zambezi, that you go up. It's awesome. The safaris, you have the water safari, the land safari, the whole structure of Africa, the cities. You go into Nigeria, you go to Abuja, you go all over, Senegal, all these places, the Gambia, they are so fantastic. These cities are so beautiful, and the people are just absolutely gorgeous. The foods, the culture, everything about Africa is beautiful.
Thank you, Sister Penda. Now, Brother Eric, we certainly didn't see Tarzan swinging from a tree with those innovations. Let's talk a bit about that.
Tarzan is probably an app.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What is amazing is that people don't see the generational links. Our ancestors created the pyramids. They created all sorts of amazing technology. Imhotep was the father of medicine. And, in terms of the internet, Philip Imewali, who's considered the father of the internet. So when you looked at that video with Hey, which is just in Rwanda, we haven't even touched other parts of Africa. Look at the amazing innovation. Most of Africa, there's no energy and there's no power. So people are using the cell phone to create all sorts of things that are meaningful. And what I'd like to say to our Guyanese is that we are in a mode of downloading.
True.
Right? And Hey is about uploading applications and making it relevant to agriculture and to health and to everything else. And we need to get there. We are now pursuing STEM. We're pursuing information technology. I think these are the types of things that our young people need to see so that we can create apps for our own farmers, for tourism, for elderly people to get around. I mean, they have their own Uber with motorcycles and cars. So it's just generational linkage back to the people who created civilization and were the first engineers, the first technologists, the first scientists. And
first everything,
fascinatingly, it's women that are driving those two companies that you saw there. So that's where we are. Africa is 52 countries. We saw 10 cities, and we saw one country and what's going on. Rwanda is leading the world in Africa in terms of green technology. There was just a summit on going green because we recognize that we have to go green. And people need to realize that Africa is the fastest growing continent in the world. And will have the largest population of young people in the world in the next 20 years.
But that I would love to, I myself enjoyed those videos, and I would love to encourage our viewers to go and look for those videos on YouTube and look at them over and over again, because each time you look at it, you will learn something new.
And South Africa is as developed as any part of the world.
But may I add that when you're talking about the continuation and the linkage.
The DNA.
Exactly. But when you look at where we started, you know, we created the civilizations and all that we did, the pyramids and everything. But then we also, even though we were captured and brought to places like America and these places, our ancestors, because of you said the DNA, look what we were able to create.
Yeah, there are over 100 black inventions in the United States that are, some were patented, some were stolen by others and patented by them.
Well, because the reason they were not patented is because you were not considered a human being, and therefore you could not have a patent. When we were allowed to patent, we had one person had over 100 patents. And so, I mean, think of the inventions that were stolen because you couldn't patent it. So the master or your owner had to patent your inventions. And I mean, we're sitting here tonight and we have all these lights. But it was Latimer who with the filaments, right? And then those of us who get into accidents and you need a blood transfusion, Charles Drew. And incidentally,
the computer was created by the mini computer by a black
American. And our traffic lights, Morgan, the mask to save us in the mines, Morgan. So I mean, all these things are there. But Sister Esther, the sad thing about it is that Charles Drew, who developed the blood plasma, worked on it and developed and able us to have a blood transfusion. He died for want of a blood transfusion.
The irony.
I know.
That's so ironic.
I guess we could speak about Africa all night. We have so much more.
We could. Yes, we'll ask our technician to give us our song that we requested. How many more? And after that, we'll come back to you. We'll talk about reparations here in Guyana.
Sing whoa. Hey, my plea, oh, yeah. A sound from my land. This morning to the sounds of crying, another mother shedding her tears. Oh yeah, why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing? Could it be that nobody cares? Oh no, so many sons lost in the slaughter, blood running in the streets like water. A gun in hand knows no friend. No, warmongers selling death in my land, getting rich off the souls of we children. Can you tell me when will it end? How many more die? this love. Oh, how many more, Jah, before we trot down Zion Road? How many more? Sing wayo, 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 wayo. Heavenly Father, won't you hear my plea? Send a happy hand for the country. In man, there's no solution. I'm begging for the children's future. Oh, Jah, drugs got them by the collar. How can we stop this mind pollution? Why must we carry this load? Too many starving and too many hungry. Too many homeless souls in the city. It seems like there's shots in too much connections, too many loopholes in Babylon system. But yeah, how can your children go? How many more, Jah, must carry this love? How many more, Jah, before we trot Zion Road? Sing with me. How many more, Jah, must carry this load? How many more, Jah, before we trot Zion Road? How many more? 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 My children. How many more? How many more? Won't you hear my plea? How many more? I'm down on bended knees. Oh, Jah. How many more? How many more? My children. How many more? How many more?
Anymore, we're going to wait for reparations here in Guyana. On a serious note, let's talk a bit about reparations here in Guyana. We saw our cities, we saw our innovation. Let's contextualize it in context of Guyana.
Well, we here in Guyana, our foreparents, I'm not saying ancestors now, the foreparents, because the ancestors are the ones that are, ancient Kemet and all of that. Our foreparents, they have done so much here in Guyana, and they have struggled. They have struggled so much that they're the ones that built the infrastructure of this country. And I keep stressing this, and I don't think people realize it. Before the what they call the transatlantic trade was abolished, our lifespan here in this country was about 4 to 5 years. If you made 7 years, it was like being a centurion. This is real serious. So when they say we'll work you to death, it was a reality. We weren't medicated. So if you broke an arm, that was it. If you broke a leg, whatever happened, that was it. So because the trade was there, we were replaceable items. So they would just work you, you die, you can't function, you throw you overboard, and you're replaced.
We dug 100 million tons of earth.
Yes.
We created the plantations, we built the seawall.
We did everything. And Brother Eric, the seawalls should be one of our greatest monuments. I can't talk about it enough, because our ancestors had to build that with their bare hands. The jetties are granite. You know the weight of granite? They put all that into place. So when you think of the struggles, what they went through, the women had to work so many hours. You couldn't marry. You couldn't, it was an awful situation. All the canals, all the drainage, the entire infrastructure was done by us. And we were never compensated. The only thing we had were whips on our backs.
Well, we lost 473,000 lives.
Exactly.
No one else in Guyana has paid that sacrifice. We built Guyana free for over 200 years. Everyone who came after us came as freed people. They had contracts. They were paid. Some were given land. So we deserve reparations, and that's what the Guyana Reparations Committee is about. We've shown that slavery was a crime against humanity that needs to be repaired. That's a United Nations declaration. We've showed in Guyana that we were here before 3 of the indigenous tribes, and those 3 indigenous tribes have gotten land as part of the Amerindian Act of 2006. All 9 groups got land. Our indigenous brothers and sisters have almost 16% of Guyana. We're claiming 18% of Guyana because we cleared 15,000 square miles. We lost all these lives. And there's a precedent because the Amerindian Act of 2006 is a reparatory justice act. And it was done by our government after independence. So we deserve justice, and we deserve to acknowledge, all Guyanese, what Africans have done to build Guyana.
And Brother Eric, it's not just the land that we have lost here.
Yes.
When we were taken from Africa, we lost our lands there also.
But that'll be the Caribbean Reparations Commission fight. We have 2 fights. One is against the British and Dutch in Africa, reparations there. But we in Guyana, we have a separate issue because reparations have already been given in Guyana by the Guyana government.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And we need to be repaired.
And we've suffered so much.
Oh, please.
And we've invested so much. The blood of our ancestors is in this ground. Their bones are crying out in the sea. And I think the most honorable thing our government could do is give the descendants of Africans land as reparations. At least it's a start if we're going to participate, and we are participating in the CARICOM fight. I think the government of Guyana would play a leading role and an exemplary role by giving land to Africans as reparations.
But the decade is all about reparations. What is the theme? Recognition, justice, development. Recognize the crime.
Yes.
Repair us through land justice.
Yes.
And help us to develop.
Precisely.
And can you imagine what would have happened, given what you've seen going on in Africa today, and given what happened for 400 years, if we had been allowed in the world to continue our innovation from the pyramids to medicine to science, the world would be a very different place. And our young people in Africa are showing that the genes are still there and they're going to do for themselves. They're not waiting for anybody to do anything for them. Those young people are creating apps that are relevant to their society, given the limitations of the lack of energy. They're using the cell phone in so many incredible ways. So if we are given our land, it's unimaginable what we will do.
Yes, land is the basis of creating generational wealth.
Our land and our education.
Yeah, we should talk about our wealth too. I know you're introducing
our brother Manson Musa, the richest man in Africa. Yes, let's ask our technician to show our viewers that video. And when we come back, we'll talk about how we can create generational wealth in our villages. Let's talk about generational wealth, creating generational wealth in our villages. We know that the close to 200 villages that our ancestors bought has been an economic or entrepreneurial feat that is unmatched anywhere in the world. So
the village movement.
Let's talk about
yes,
that.
indeed. Our ancestors have left us a footprint, so to speak. And it is something that has, as you rightly said, it's never been repeated. That real estate project that they ventured onto. But what they did was they created a situation where they employ themselves, they develop their villages, they develop the communities. And may I say this to our listeners, we were the only people in this country who owned the land. The planters were leasing from Britain. We owned it. We went out and did our real estate purchases and we set up. And what we did, but unfortunately, sister, and that brings us back to the suffering, unfortunately, they put systems in place to prevent us from developing that further.
Yeah, they taxed us, they flooded us out,
exactly.
They gave others the rights to have licenses
to sell
in our villages.
our products, etc. But yes, okay, that being said, and looking at what the youths are doing in Africa, we are now, with this decade, we are now, we're going into the villages. And we are now going to be creating a situation where we will once again reestablish what the villages were all about. In that we'll be going in and we'll be setting up councils. We'll be I say elders, but Brother Eric liked to say, what is your fancy word that you use? Anyway, we're going to be setting up councils of elders. Well, not just only elders, but people, young people will be on board.
Perhaps
I
can add, what Sister Pender is going to do is to create the village councils, work with them so that we can establish a leadership council of Africans.
Leadership is what I was looking for.
And we hope to have about 300 leaders who we will bring to Georgetown in August to do planning. One day we'll speak about education, another day about employment, economics, cultural issues, because we have to do for ourselves if not, no one else will do for us. Sure. So the Guyana Reparations Committee is looking to work with all African groups. We're going to work in partnership with the IPADA group that's also in the villages looking at entrepreneurship. We need to create our own strategic plans. A village perhaps should become a coconut estate. Sure. Alison, who is recently departed, was working in Victoria on a fishing village. Sure. We have over 200 fruits and vegetables in Guyana. We need to train our young people in particular areas that will fit into the green economy. So there are a lot of things the Guyana Reparations Committee is working on to create generational wealth. Sister Penda and her team, including yourself, you're going to do the mobilization. We were in Essequibo last week.
Yes, we were.
As part of Black History Month.
Yes.
But time is short because we have to not only create the plans, we have to figure out how our young people will innovate the way our young people are doing in Africa.
True. Well, we're going to do that by once we get into the villages, and we're doing it in 3 stages. Yeah. We're going to be first introducing, I don't want to say indoctrinating, but we're going to be selling the idea to the villagers. We're going to meet in groups.
To be self-independent.
They're going to go back and set the councils themselves, because we're leaving it to them to do the work, and then once that is set up, then we go back in and we take it to the next stage. But all of this, as Brother Eric says, will be based around creating wealth, creating jobs, proper structure.
Planning
and
the way forward.
At the center of that is the Ancestral Rights Bill, which Brother Gary Best has written with some lawyers. It's almost ready. We had a readout in it last Thursday. And that will be associated with a perpetual trust The Perpetual Trust will have 22 trustees from the villages. So the leaders from the villages, the village councils will be there. There'll be 7 technical trustees who will help in terms of the legal dimensions, the business dimensions. And the 22 trustees will have 1 vote each, which is 22. The 7 technical trustees will have a single vote. So it's for the villages to decide what they want to do. But we in the Reparations Committee will work with other African organizations to create the economic architecture in the context of the green economy.
True.
And this is why it is so important that when I come to the villages, that you really come out and support, because you are the ones that are going to be steering.
And you're starting in March? When are you starting?
March.
In Berbice?
Yes, in Berbice. So we want you to be really on board, because you're the persons that are going to be part of our Perpetual Trust. You're going to be managing it.
And we're looking out for Brother Eddie Grant to be back. I know we wanted to wish him happy MASH. And
yes, we do.
And I want the whole country to wish me happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Sister Pendo.
How many years?
57.
Happy. I could remember your last anniversary. We took his brother Rudy to Barbies or somewhere. We took him away from you.
Why not speak about Ghana Day?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Ghana Day is, as you know, the 3rd of March this year. It's normally the 6th, but we celebrate it here on the Sunday closest to the 6th. So we'll be doing what we did in the old days, you know, celebrating as we did from that first inception, which was March 6, 1957. And it's going to be held at Congress Place, but we have a procession that starts from the Square of the Revolution. And how appropriate, because coffee, which is Kofi, is Akan and Ghanaian. So it's appropriate that we start there. The procession starts there. It goes down Cemetery Road. It goes on to Durban Street, on to Sheriff, and then First Avenue straight into Congress Place.
And you have Kings and Queens?
We have Kings and Queens, and I expect everyone to be out in full support, because the villages, I mean, I don't want to let the secret out, but West Coast Berbice this year is really coming out. I mean, you'll be, but a bang, you'll be surprised to see what they're going to be doing.
Well, we're supporting a group out of
from Good Intent.
Yeah, and the reparation team out of Good Intent. We have a queen, so it's going to be awesome. We have queens from Georgetown all over. So this procession,
and the prices, the cost and the time?
The cost to go in is $500, and children between the ages of 5 and 11, it's 2. The little ones don't pay.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can't
so
beat
next
that.
Sunday?
It's Sunday coming,
Sunday.
and I expect the whole of Guyana to support us.
Okay, Sister Pendo.
That's my anniversary gift.
Okay, I hope you have space there for the crowd when you come pouring down. All right.
Well, on that note, we'd like to wish our president good health.
Yes.
I know he's heading back out of the country soon.
Okay.
We need him back.
Yes.
So that we could get the necessary moral leadership to take us out of the morass we're in today.
Okay, yes. Speedy recovery, Your Excellency, President David Arthur Granger. We from the Guyana Reparations Committee wish you all the best.
Ashe.
At this time, Brother Eric, is there anything else you would like to say before we wrap up?
Well, be proud of your heritage. All Guyanese should be, African Guyanese. If you're an indigenous person, if you're Portuguese, if you're Chinese, if you're Indian, be proud of your heritage. I know there's this argument that you can't be Afro-Guyanese, that's racist, that's stupidity, because we're Indian Guyanese, we're African Guyanese, we're all Guyanese, but that's a nationality.
True.
In terms of our ethnicity, in terms of our generational linkages, in terms of our DNA, we've come from 6 continents.
Yes, we have. Yes, Guyanese is only my nationality, and I'm proud of it. But my origin, I'm an African to the bone.
Ashe.
Well, in wrapping up, we would love to invite our viewers, our supporters, to Herdmanston Lodge, to a health wellness forum. This is being organized by our reparations champion, Brother Eddie Gant. Kudos to you. His company is hosting that health and wellness forum, and the public is invited. It's free. Also, we would love to invite you to our weekly meetings, which is every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at the Museum of African Heritage, Berrima Avenue, Bel Air. And it's open to the public. So come and join us. All are welcome. And we had 4 minutes there just now. The last time we were direct to signal 4 minutes. So I guess we could we have probably about 2 more now. We could. Any closing remarks?
Yes, I'd like to say that I would like us, I mean, they've given us the shortest month, and, you know, but that's all right, because I'd like to really say to the young people in particular that you are wonderful, you are doing wonderful things, and Brother Eric, we can see it all over. Anything that you put your mind to, you excel. I mean, in our baseball, when Africans were playing by themselves, they were doing so well, they were beating the Europeans, so they integrated us. Anything that we put our hands to is in the genes, and you have to be proud. You have to know your heritage. You have to realize that you came from a wonderful, wonderful background, and therefore you have to continue that trend.
Yes.
That's all I want to say.
Yes, Brother Eric?
Just believe in yourself. Anything you set your mind to, you can achieve. It's in you. I mean, we know people who are supposed to be uneducated, grandparents, but their children have been doctors. So it's in you. Just have confidence.
Yes, and sure. Bearing in mind, too, because the history from Africa, look at what we saw. The Ghanaians have it that the brains of Africa came to the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Picture that.
Yes. Yes, but it's true, because think about it. When you look at what the Caribbean have, we don't even talk about the achievements of the Africans here in Guyana. Most of the our scholars, the person who told us so much about what Europe has stolen from us was George James
and Walter Rodney.
And Walter Rodney.
Ivan Van Sertima.
Exactly. And oh, don't forget our person from Alexander Village, Dr. Jan Carew.
Jan Carew.
Okay.
You know, all these people.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been given the wrap-up signal. So once again, thank you for being here with us. And again, as we said before, we wish our president well. This program came to you. Compliments of the Ministry of Presidency, Department of Social Cohesion. And with that, I would love to say reparations now until we meet again.
Ashe.
Ashe.